In this video, I want to talk about capturing the moment. And what we're talking about is capturing these finite moments that maybe only last 1 or 2 seconds or even less in time. For example, at a wedding, this could be that first kiss that lasts for a second, well, maybe more depending on your couple, of course. Sometimes they just give a little peck. It could be that sporting event where someone catches the game-winning touchdown. It could be, well, a simple laugh that we're about to try and capture on our couple's expressions. We want to get that beautiful, candid moment. It could be really any one of these things, and for all of these types of situations, we use the simple PLAN acronym. And what PLAN stands for is to prepare, lock in, anticipate, and then to wait for that now moment. So let's talk about each component of this PLAN acronym. And starting with the top, we have prepare. And prepare, all that means is basically bringing the right gear with you, having the right tools for the job. So from your camera to your lenses to lighting gear, whatever you need to get the job done. Now, I know this is something that happens all the time. My friends will go out and they'll buy this amazing, expensive $5,000 DSLR kit with their lenses, and guess what? They leave it at home or they don't take it on their trip because it's not convenient. So always have the kind of camera that fits for whatever your use is. If you like portability, get a small point and shoot camera or an advanced point and shoot that you can take along with you. A camera that you have with you is always going to be that much better than the camera that you don't. Okay, so that's preparing, having the right gear, having everything you need to do the job. Next, we're going to talk about locking in your settings. What we want to do is dial in the settings to get our right exposure before the action starts happening. And in general, you know, to be honest, 99% of the time we can do this, even when we're shooting in pure photojournalistic environments. There are those occasional times where basically we're shooting in, say, shade at one moment and we're going outdoors into a bright moment the next, and you need to use, say, an assisted mode just because you can't dial the exposure in from those times, basically moving from those different scenes. And that does happen. If you're in these types of scenes where there's literally no time to change settings, then yes, an assisted mode can really help you out. But in general, again, 99% of the time we can be dialing in manually and just planning ahead, basically getting all these shots, getting our settings locked in beforehand. Doing so, make sure that you have the right exposure, make sure that you don't have too low of a shutter speed and so forth. You have everything set up for the right overall shot that you want to go for. Next, we have anticipate. Now, anticipate means be in the right area and have the right composition. We want to anticipate the action. So at a wedding, the action is going to occur, well, basically right down the middle aisle where they're going to do their first kiss. Right now, we're going to set the action to occur basically where they're going to walk along this path. At a sporting event, you would basically follow the ball movement to anticipate the action. This is what anticipate means. Have the area and the composition set up so when that now moment occurs, you're ready to go. And then basically, well, that's the last component. We're waiting for that now moment to fire our shot. So let's use this technique. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start from the top. We have all the gear with us. Well, I'm shooting this on a 50mm 1.4 actually this go around. The 1.4 is a little bit nicer in terms of just overall focusing than the 1.8. Although aesthetically at f2, they're really very, very similar. Now we're also on our Rebel. What I'm going to do is go ahead and dial in the right exposure. I'm on spot meter right now. So I'm just going to walk in and I'm going to meter for her skin. So I'm going to walk in, bring that meter right over her skin. And I want an aperture of f2 because, well, that's going to be the look or the aesthetic that I want to have in the background. I really want them to pop off the background and have a beautiful blur and bokeh look in the background, okay? So we're going to go to f2, and that's perfect. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to dial in the right shutter speed. Now, my shutter speed that I want is around 1/500th of a second. And this is because when they have that candid reaction, that moment, I really want to freeze the action, okay? So I have them at 1/500th of a second. And then what I need to do, though, is bring my shutter, or my aperture, I'm sorry, my ISO up a little bit. Because right now at 1/500th and at 100 ISO, I'm about a stop underexposed. So I'm going to go up to 200. And let's check it out. And this is great. As they're walking out towards this area, it's going to get a little bit brighter too. So I'm kind of taking that into consideration as well. We're backlit in this scene. We have a beautiful look. They're front lit with this outside light in the sky. So it has a great flat lit look that's very flattering. And now what we're going to do is pull Keith out for just a second to give him a little bit of advice on being smooth and feeling a little more confident and a little more natural in front of the camera. So let's do that now. Keith, come over here. I'm going to give you some tips on basically acting a little bit more natural, all right, in front of the camera, because she's doing awesome. You're gonna need some work, brother. Okay, so I actually do this a lot. What I do is I pull the guy aside and I basically tell him, okay, what I want you to do is whisper something, and Christine can't hear this right now. I say, I want you to whisper something into her ear or do something that's gonna get a rise out of her. It could be something like giving her a little pinch in the butt. It could be whatever it is. Something's gonna make her laugh. And then what we do is basically I say, remember, Keith, what we talked about? And he goes, yes. And I say, okay, do it now. We're basically preparing for that moment. And so right when it happens, well, everything else in our plan equation falls into place. And that's our now moment when we capture our images. Okay, so you got an idea of what you're gonna do? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna send him back now. let's go back. Okay, Christine, we're good. He's all set up. Okay, and then when we are ready to cue it, we're gonna cue it basically, okay? Remember, we have to have everything else dialed in at this point, otherwise we might not get the shot. Okay, I've got them framed, and what we're gonna do, guys, is I want you guys to be walking and talking. We're gonna go at like quarter speed walking, okay? So walk very, very slowly, in step with each other, okay? And start walking now. And Keith, remember what I said? Do that now. Perfect. These moments could really be anything. It could be at a wedding. We can plan for that too. We can do everything the same way by basically preparing, locking in our settings, being the right area and anticipating that moment and waiting for the now moment. Whatever it is, whenever you're shooting journalistically, so long as you keep these things in mind and keep that plan acronym in mind, you're gonna always at least better your chances of nailing the shot that you want, especially when you're shooting in purely photojournalistic moments. When we're shooting in purely photojournalistic moments, you may not have, well, all the time in the world to do these things, but if you can get in the right area, if you can anticipate where the action's gonna be happening, if you can wait for that now moment and have all the settings dialed in and locked in, well, it greatly increases your chance of nailing that shot. Part of it does come with a little bit of luck, especially when you're shooting in, well, pure photojournalistic type environments as well. Hopefully this helps you guys out. What I want you guys to do is use the plan acronym, go out, shoot something journalistically, and basically prepare, lock in your settings, anticipate where the area and your composition, what everything needs to be for the moment, and then wait for that now moment and capture the shot. Once you've done that, post it to SR Lounge and tell everybody about it. That's it for this video. Let's head on to the next one now.
We've covered a lot, but what really, now that we've got the foundations down, what makes a great photograph? I know you've got this awesome acronym.
Man.
Okay, say deeper. Deeper.
Man.
Oh yeah. Okay, go.
Okay, actually it's not anything sexist or anything like that. It just stands for MAN. And I was trying to think of acronyms that would really help you all out, and I know this one's kind of tacky. Well,